Now at 9, animal cruelty charges are requested against the handler of a canine that died in August. Plus, how the Miami, Oklahoma Fire Department plans to spend a $5,000 donation. And high schoolers in Nevada, Missouri put on a living history tour of the Deepwood Cemetery.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Elise Noe. The Labette County Sheriff's Office requests charges against a Parsons police officer following a report that shows the officer's canine died of overheating. Authorities say the canine KOAM was found dead in his kennel in August. A necropsy report of KOAM was returned on Wednesday, showing extreme temperatures the day of his death, where the sole factor in his passing. The sheriff is now requesting charges of cruelty to animals against the handler. The Labette County Attorney's Office must now determine whether to pursue those charges. Pittsburgh police say there are no new updates on the murder of Justin Krogan. This came as family and friends gathered in front of the Pittsburgh police station to rally for the capture of Krogan's killer. Krogan was shot and killed outside of Jimmy B's bar in Pittsburgh on August 20th. Family says they support law enforcement. They just want to see justice done.
Successful outcome would be the arrest, conviction, and for the murder, put away for the murder of my nephew. I mean, we need transparency. They know who these suspects are.
If you know anything about the murder, you are asked to contact police. Meteorologist Sam Lane joins us with a first look at weather.
All right, thank you very much, Elise. It's been a cool day across the area. Lots of sunshine, though. But now the clouds are going to start wrapping back around this powerful storm system that is moving across Iowa this evening. And those clouds are going to make it feel pretty cool tomorrow. We're going to see temperatures dropping through the 50s into the 40s tonight with a low of 47 degrees. And if you're heading to the Missouri Southern Pittsburgh State game tomorrow, looking for mostly cloudy skies with a kickoff temperature of 57 degrees and around halftime just about a degree warmer and pretty cool day across the area. Down the lane, we're expecting clouds to roll in later on tonight. A chilly weekend in store with a cool week ahead and maybe some Thursday rainfall. And I'll tell you more about that in just a little bit.
All right, thanks, Sam. Mount Vernon's annual Apple Butter Making Days is here. The festival carries on the 57-year-old tradition that started when a few churches got together to help raise funds for the congregation. The festival has since grown exponentially and it hosts almost 400 vendors this year.
Absolute, complete, humbling honor. I have the best team that surrounds this community. This community surrounds us and supports each other. It's just, I've never seen anything like this. It's unique to see an entire town come together for one unique purpose.
The festival will continue until Sunday at 4 p.m. It wasn't fear of a black cat that brought people out this Friday the 13th, but a love of black ink. The Raptor Collective was one of many area tattoo shops running specials today. Customers could come in, get up to 3 tattoos for $20 a piece. And if the lines were any indication, the deal was a very popular one.
Tattooing, it's kind of like therapy for a lot of people. It's a way to come in here and they get to meet new people. They get to walk away with a piece of art that they get to stare at for the rest of their lives, you know. It's a way for us to share our art with people, and I really love getting to put my art on people.
The Raptor Collective will be open until 10 tonight with this deal. Just remember, first come, first served. Tonight, Bushwhacker Museum in Nevada hosted their 2-night Tales from the Deepwood Cemetery. Nevada High School students from Mrs. Bell's class brought visitors on a tour as they present their first-person portrayals, bringing the cemetery to life. The characters portrayed were all based on historical figures from Nevada, and their monologues were written by the students themselves.
My sheriff was sheriff of Nevada over 100 years ago, and I was out in the line of duty when I got shot down by a suspect we were perpetrating.
While the tales might be over for tonight, the event starts back up tomorrow at 5 p.m. with tours happening every 15 minutes. The Miami Fire Department received a $5,000 donation today. The check presentation took place at the Vance Chevy Buick GMC dealership. The fire department is always in need of new equipment, including tools that meet the new NPA standards. The deputy chief said the donation meant a lot for the department and not just the amount of money.
Well, it means a lot because, you know, what we go through and what we see day to day or every shift, it's, you know, it feels good for somebody to see that and do something about it. And it really means a lot.
The dealership plans to give more to the department in the weeks ahead. The Israel-Hamas conflict has reached day 7. Though the conflict is far away from home, some 4-state residents are directly impacted by it. Joplin resident Renat Nilsson is one of them. Originally from Israel, she moved to the United States 20 years ago, but is now seeing her twin sister dealing with the daily consequences of the conflict. KOAM's Fernanda Silva visited with Nilsson to understand how the war is affecting her and her family.
Renat Nilsson knows the fear many are facing in Israel and Palestine. Her twin sister, Irela, lives near Tel Aviv.
She hears the sirens. She hears the missiles. If it's close enough, the whole house will shake.
For Nilsson and the United Hebrew Congregation of Joplin, the Palestinians are as much victims as the Israelis. They say the Hamas are the ones to blame.
The Palestinians, who are not the organization, terror organizations, are friendly people. Everyday, hardworking people.
Hamas is an enemy of Israel, but they're also an enemy of the Palestinians. The way they treat the people in Palestine, for instance, they set up rocket launchers in schoolyards and in hospital yards. So they force a situation where if Israel is going to defend itself by attacking the rocket launchers, they're going to wind up attacking schools and hospitals.
With thousands of Palestinians and Israelis already victims, Nilsson fears for her sister.
We have a connection that no one else understands. And so losing her, I'll have nothing to live for. I love her. I don't know what I'll do if I lose her. I don't know.
Still, they're hopeful.
I want to believe it will be peace one day, but I'm not sure.
We're all hopeful that not only her and my family, but everyone in Israel, there will be no more casualties, no more killings.
In Joplin, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
Later in the hour, we will hear more from Nilsson and her sister about the effects of the Israel-Hamas conflict. Coming up, how the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission is warning people about the dangers of flammable liquids. Nearly 500,000 baby bibs and blankets have been recalled due to a possible choking hazard. The recall involves roughly 450,000 Sleepyhead Loveys and bandana bibs from Little Sleepies. The company says the care instruction label on the products can detach, causing a possible choking hazard. They were sold online and at boutique stores nationwide in a variety of colors and patterns from February 2021 through September of this year. It's National Fire Prevention Week, and the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission is issuing a warning about the dangers of flammable liquids. Amanda Gaither has more on how to properly use and store fuel containers this fall.
From burning fall leaves to fire pits and barbecues, there are a lot of blazes this time of year, but flames and fuel don't mix.
There's thousands of people that are treated in hospital emergency rooms every year from burns and other injuries associated with fires that were related to fuel containers.
The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission says properly storing, using, and handling fuel and gas cans or containers are all critical parts of fire safety.
You never want to put gasoline on a fire or an open flame. You want to use only appropriate approved materials for starting or relighting fires.
That means a fire starter log or stick. Other things to have on hand: a fire extinguisher, water container, or hose nearby in case the fire gets out of hand.
You also want to make sure that you check the weather beforehand. Make sure that there's not high winds or gusts, and also check to see that there aren't any warnings of risk of wildfires in your area.
Gas cans or fuel containers should be stored outside of a home in a cool and well-ventilated area, and never store or handle a fuel container near a heat source or flame.
The vapors itself can catch fire and flash back and explode, or they can flash forward violently and burn people nearby.
Sam is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, it's rivalry week as Pitt State gets set to take on Missouri Southern. Sports director John Dales breaks down the matchup.
Well, we had a little mixed bag today of weather with some rain and clouds this morning, and then the sun came out this afternoon, and now we're starting to see the clouds come back in just a little bit. Let's take a look out this morning at Seneca, Missouri, the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. You can see the wet pavement there in the parking lot, and then as this goes into motion, you'll see more scattered showers as they moved and developed across the area this morning, and then this afternoon we started to see the sun come out. Well, it looks like the time lapse not going to work for us. Let's go on past that. We made it up to 67 today after a start of 55 degrees. Actually, that is our current temperature, and the average high is 72 and the average low 49, and we're still way behind on the rainfall, about 10.5 inches, even with the rain last night. And we're looking at temperatures generally in the mid 50s right now, so a cool evening out there with northwesterly winds. It's already down to 51 for our friends in Yates Center, 52 in Iola, 57 down in Anderson, as well as Grove. Temperatures right now are generally about 5 to 10 degrees colder than they were 24 hours ago, so you can kind of see the depth of the cold air now advancing into our area. And it's all because of this big upper level low that's spinning over Iowa right now, moving off towards the east. But on the back side of it, moisture is wrapping around and creating a cloud deck that is moving to the south and east. You can kind of see it sneaking in to our northwestern counties, and those clouds are going to be with us through most of the day tomorrow, in fact most of the weekend. And we are still in a drought situation, as you saw earlier, about 10.5 inches behind on rainfall, but it's more severe for Chautauqua, Elk, and Montgomery counties, and also very dry up in Vernon, as well as Cedar and St. Clair counties, so we definitely need some more rainfall. Unfortunately, for the next 12 hours or so, we're not expecting any. There might be a few scattered showers late tomorrow evening and into the overnight hours into early Sunday morning, especially up towards the north. And on the rainfall forecast, you can see that if any rain does fall, it would be only a few hundredths of an inch of rain, not expecting a whole lot of precipitation. So tonight we're going to see the clouds roll back in with temperatures dropping down into the low 50s and upper 40s. And then as we go in through the day tomorrow, we're going to see temperatures in the mid 50s, and this is around the eclipse time. And as you can see, clouds are socked in, so it's not likely we're going to see the eclipse with temperatures in the mid 50s. And then in the afternoon, not budging much on the temperatures, only upper 50s to lower 60s. And then as we go into Saturday night, here comes those showers up towards the north and a few sprinkles as well as we go into early Sunday morning. And by Sunday morning, we'll see lows generally in the upper 40s and lower 50s, maybe a few breaks in the clouds, but that will mainly occur in the afternoon hours as we start to see peaks of sun here and there with highs in the upper 50s and lower 60s. Here's the storm system over us now, moving away, cold air coming in behind it, but then another storm system is waiting in the wings, and that won't be here until about Thursday of next week and could hang around a little bit. Still have to wait and see exactly how that's going to pan out. But right now, for sure, we're going to have a fall weekend with temperatures in the 50s for highs and 40s and 30s for lows, and then a slow warming trend up towards that storm system next Thursday. Elise?
It looks good to me
It
with the
does me
fall
too.
weather there. Thanks, Sam. Coming up, a scramble in the House.
It's a Republican regroup on Capitol Hill as the party continues to struggle to unite around a House Speaker nominee. I'm Rebecca Castor in Washington. Who's in the running now? Coming up.
Working full-time at the office is probably going to cost you. A new survey from Owl Lab reports that 66% of U.S. employees who return to the office to work full-time spend an extra, on average, $51 every workday. Expenses, of course, include gas, parking, breakfast, and/or lunch. This survey also reported on another aspect of remote work. For example, the survey found that in-office pet owners pay on average an extra $20 a day. Another interest rate hike this year is likely. That's according to newly released minutes from the Federal Reserve September meeting. Most Fed officials say they believe another increase would be appropriate. They noted it depends on how inflation responds to the 11 hikes that have been seen since last March. Millions of seniors will now get a slight boost to their monthly Social Security checks. Some believe the announcement by the Social Security Administration doesn't go far enough to help with inflation. Fox News multimedia reporter Chelsea Torres is in Charlotte speaking with people who say this still won't be enough to live on.
The Social Security Cost of Living, or COLA, adjustment will give seniors a 3.2% increase in their monthly check. One woman tells me she feels like she can't retire because she cannot make a comfortable living on just Social Security alone. At 70 years old, Suzanne Menser is still working full-time.
I have never retired, and quite frankly, the outlook is that I will never be able to retire.
Menser says she'll continue to work even though she gets Social Security every month. The Social Security Administration says almost 50 million retired Americans get a check from them each month, with an average of $1,800.
Somehow that number, what it costs to live, always stays ahead of what people have. I've been working on W-2 type jobs since I was 16 years old, and I'm amazed how it doesn't add up after a while.
The new cost of living adjustment reflects current inflation numbers. This upcoming year, the monthly check will rise by 3.2%.
If for whatever unfortunate reason inflation spikes again, then the COLA that they're going to get is going to be less than the actual price increase in 24, and that's going to hurt them.
But even a bump in pay will not cover all the expenses for some retirees. Menser has noticed more seniors looking for jobs.
There's lots of seniors out there looking for a way to supplement their Social Security. No, it takes all the money you have to sit around and not work anymore.
Seniors will start seeing the increase in their checks come January. Chelsea Torres, Fox News.
Up next, what a new survey reveals about the amount of Americans who say they've had unexplained events in their homes. A haunting survey shows many Americans say they have experienced unexplained events in their homes. The survey by All Star Home reveals 16% of people in the U.S. think their house is haunted, while 40% say they have had unexplained or unusual experiences in their homes. Experiences include strange sounds in the house, followed by animals acting strange, ghosts, and lights turning on or off. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. House Republicans are scrambling to find their next speaker nominee after Steve Scalise drops out. Plus, we'll hear from a Joplin woman from Israel about how the war there is impacting her family. Republican dysfunction has been on full display on Capitol Hill all week as the party struggles to unite behind a candidate for House Speaker. Now it seems a nominee may have prevailed. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castro reports from Washington on where things stand.
On their second day of secret votes this week, Republicans are one step closer to putting a new leader in the House Speaker role.
We'll get there. Democracy's messy.
Congressman Jim Jordan is the party's new speaker nominee. He originally fell to Scalise in a secret ballot 2 days ago, but is back in the race.
I think I can bring our team together. That's what I've said all.
But a redemption story for ousted Speaker Kevin McCarthy is not out of the question. He was removed from the speaker chair last week by a small group of Republicans, but some believe he's the only GOP lawmaker who could garner enough votes to win the seat back on the House floor.
I'm back with Kevin McCarthy. Since he, out of all of the folks that have thrown their hat in the ring, he is head and shoulders above the rest.
Republicans are holding off on voting on the House floor until their candidate has the votes to win. That could take some time. This vote is all about the numbers, and both parties are telling out-of-town members to get back to D.C. as quickly as possible.
Not having everyone here holds that process back.
We have now very little time and under much more difficult circumstances because the world is on fire.
North Carolina Congressman Patrick McHenry remains temporary speaker for now, but he has minimal power, and Congress can't vote on any legislation, including funding for Israel, until a new speaker is elected. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Palestinians in northern Gaza have been given hours to leave the region after Israel told around 1 million people there to move south, where border crossings remain closed. It's a sign a ground invasion could be coming soon in response to Hamas's deadly terror attack last week. President Biden held a call for more than an hour with relatives of Americans who still remain unaccounted for. The Israel-Hamas war might feel far away, but some four-state residents are directly affected by it. One Joplin woman, originally from Israel, is now seeing her twin sister deal with the conflict. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has more.
Last Friday, Renate Wilson went to bed hoping for a restful night, but she woke up at 4 a.m. to more than 20 messages from her twin sister.
I looked at all the messages and I started realizing, what am I reading? And I turned on the TV and I was watching in shock. I was sitting there and watching the horrors.
From almost 7,000 miles away, Nielsen receives updates on the Israel-Hamas war all day long, especially from her sister. The calls and messages keep coming.
She's horrified. She's crying a lot. Every time she calls and she says, I gotta run, there's a siren. And I just want you to know, if something happens, I love you.
But the same calls and messages that bring relief to Nielsen are also a source of anxiety.
All I can do is just sit here and pray and hope that in half an hour, in an hour, she'll contact and she'll say, well, we're out of the safe room for now.
It can happen every 5 minutes. It can happen once in 4 hours. You can never know. It can happen when you take a shower. It can happen when you sleep.
Adela lives near Tel Aviv and says the things they're watching are horrifying.
I'm not sure I can tell you. I don't want to be too graphic about the description.
And I'm afraid to go to sleep at night, that I won't hear the messages. I'm afraid to wake up to a very bad message.
In Joplin, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
To watch both parts of Nielsen's story, visit our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. A bit later, in honor of Friday the 13th, we'll learn about a Joplin area icon, the Joplin Spook Light.
Well, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster lately, with temperatures very warm over the last few days, and then we had the showers and storms last night, and now it's feeling more like fall, and it's going to get even cooler as we head towards the weekend. Right now at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, things are looking pretty nice and calm, and we're seeing the chilly air starting to move in from the north and west. We did make it up to 67, but that was way back at midnight. 55 the low, 72 is the normal high, and 49 the normal low. And look at the rainfall. We're still about 10.5 inches behind for the year, even with the rainfall last night. Temperatures right now are not that bad, but they are getting cool. 51 in Iola, same thing in Yates Center. A little bit warmer down to the south in Grove, where they're 57, as well as Jay, Veneta, and Anderson, 58 degrees, the warm spot for our friends in Nowata. And over the last 24 hours, we've seen a dramatic cool down, about 10 to 15 degrees cooler than they were last night at this time. And that cool air is going to continue to sink in. It's all behind this big storm system that's spiraling over Iowa this evening, spreading some showers and thunderstorms up for the Great Lakes. But notice on the backside, the clouds are now starting to move in from the north and west, and that's wraparound moisture. and those clouds are going to be with us through most of the day tomorrow, keeping things on the cool side. And we're unfortunately still in a drought situation, especially up to the north in Nevada and over towards Stockton, and also for our friends out to the west in southeastern Kansas, where the drought is still exceptional levels. And we don't have any rainfall in the forecast for the next 12 to 20 hours, but then beyond that, we're going to see some sprinkles and some light showers, mainly up towards the north. In fact, looking at the rainfall forecast, it's not going to be all that impressive, just very light amounts, if any, that will fall over the next 24 hours up towards the north near Nevada and Stockton. So looking at the forecast tonight, the clouds will start to roll back in from the north and west, with temperatures dropping into the 50s on northwesterly winds. Then tomorrow, as we start the day, we're going to see temperatures in the 50s, and then around lunchtime for the eclipse, but unfortunately with clouds all the way around the area, not likely to see the eclipse tomorrow, with temperatures in the mid 50s, and then in the afternoon still staying in the 50s, upper 50s with northwesterly winds. And then as we go into Saturday night and early Sunday morning, that's when the sprinkles and showers will be developing mainly up towards the north, with temperatures in the 50s once again. And then as we head into Sunday morning, maybe a few breaks in the clouds with temperatures in the 50s. And then on Sunday afternoon, more breaks in the clouds with temperatures rising into the upper 50s and lower 60s. Big storm system right now pulling away from us eventually, but cool air will start to rotate around a low of low pressure back in on the back side of that. Then we have the next storm system that's going to be crashing into the Rocky Mountains and over into our area Thursday of next week. Still some discrepancy as to how that's going to pan out, as some of the models are forecasting it could stick around a while. But right now I'm going to be optimistic and say that the rain will be on Thursday and then hopefully clearing out by next weekend and giving us a pretty nice weekend next weekend.
It looks like it. You know, it's too bad we're not going to be able to get a glimpse of that eclipse.
I know. I really wanted to see that, but maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Sam. Coming up in sports, Frontenac and Parsons headline another busy Friday of high school football. Plus, Pittsburgh State and Missouri Southern football renew their rivalry tomorrow afternoon. John Dales has those stories and more up next. It's a four-state legend that's been discussed since the 1800s. I'm talking about what's known as the spook light in Joplin. KOAM's Tanya Bach met up with a four-state man who showed her where to find it, and a local folklore expert to learn the history behind the mystery.
Cross the creek, go around the house, come in the witch's holler, 3 miles and you're here.
Dean Walker is talking about how to find the Joplin spook light, a four-state mystery he's personally witnessed at least 50 times since he was 5 years old.
Well, I've seen guys in a convertible shooting at them with shotguns and a 30-30. They just keep floating down the road.
The original name of the spook light was the Hornet Spook Light, named for a little village and cemetery here on the Missouri side. It was best seen around here in the 1920s and 30s, and then it migrated west into Oklahoma along 40 Road.
And that's actually where the major studies were done by the Corps of Engineers, etc. Then by the late 40s and 50s, it was seen more on 50 Road, and that's what people today call Spook Light Road.
Lisa Martin is a member of the Paranormal Science Lab investigation team and Dark Ozarks. She's written a handful of books about haunted places in southwest Missouri and is currently publishing a new series on regional folklore, with the first book featuring the Joplin Spook Light.
There are tales that it could be a miner. There are tales that it's a Civil War soldier. There are tales that go further back with some of the native lore that it's, Indian lovers or Indian princess who's lost, that kind of thing. The story that is repeated the most is of a farmer that went out looking for his lost children, and he took a lantern, and the children never came back, and he never came back, and so the light is the farmer's lantern, and he's looking for his lost children.
Whatever the story, there's a draw to young and old to try to figure out the mystery behind the light.
We can say what it's not a lot easier than what it is.
And where it begins and ends. Walker took us to the Devil's Holler Crossroads, the intersection of East 40 and South 650 roads.
Goes in the ground somewhere down there. We never did find it. Went all over looking for it. We did find a bunch of graves, but we didn't know if it come out at cemetery or what.
A lot of the main theories that have been put forward over time, even from the Corps of Engineers and the University of Missouri, etc., really don't add up. Everything from swamp gas, and there's not a lot of decaying organic matter down there, or car lights, don't really hold up for most of the experiences.
An experience my photographer Ty Perks and I couldn't resist. You see anything there? The two red lights near the top of the screen belong to a cell phone tower about a half a mile away on 50 Road. The light in the middle, could it be the spook light? We tested the headlight theory.
This would be where I turn, right here.
Yep, that's you.
I'm gonna turn.
Definitely not the same light. A mile north on 40 Road, we had a different experience, this time with my camera.
Took all my battery. Just drained it.
And then, a few minutes later...
Ty, I see it in the tree.
You see it in the tree?
I see a light in the tree.
Are you looking straight up?
No, it's towards the bottom of the tree. Do you still see the light in my camera?
Yeah.
Now it's gone.
Which tree?
This big one. Right here. It was right at the base of it. Oh, whoa. I feel really cold. Like it passed through me. It was so cold.
Oh.
I am freezing right now. Freezing. I saw something in this tree.
Whether what I encountered was the spook light or not, the legend remains a popular topic for four-state locals like Walker.
Do you think it's an evil entity, or?
Just a mysterious light floating around.
Reporting on the Missouri-Oklahoma state line, Tanya Bach, KOAM News.
A word of warning, it's not as safe now to park along 50 Road since it has been paved. There's no shoulder, and because of excessive littering, authorities will issue tickets if you're caught parking there at night. Tanya and Ty got permission from the county sheriff before their investigation. Coming up, we'll meet a woman who's getting into the Halloween spirit by delivering sweet treats in her vehicle with a 12-foot skeleton riding in the back. You've heard of skeletons in your closet, but what about a skeleton in your trunk? This Arizona woman is bringing tricks and treats to everyone on the road with a 12-foot tall skeleton in her car. Fox's Danielle Miller has more.
My birthday is near Halloween, and it's always just been the time to, celebrate my birthday and transform into, whoever you want to be.
All month long, Jennifer Papp will have a guest in her Jeep. It's in celebration of her favorite holiday, Halloween.
My husband did. His name is Boner.
12-foot skeleton has taken over the back of her Jeep. Jennifer loves driving around with her new friend, top down, and themed music blasting.
My husband, my family, they think I'm crazy, so they have no part of it.
Jennifer loves bringing the Halloween spirit to everyone who drives by, and at night, this character really comes to life.
I just get honks, I get thumbs up, people are taking pictures, they're like, I love it, you made my day, so it's fun.
This is the first year she's had her spooky friend as a passenger, but it definitely won't be the last.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with video of flamingo chicks at the Brookfield Zoo. Thanks for making us part of your night.